There's a reason you woke up feeling different today. Something in the air. Something you couldn't explain. And it's not your imagination. No, chosen one. You felt it because it's real. May 6th isn't just another day on the calendar. It's the day heaven pressed the reset button. You've been sensing it. The shift. The pull. Like your soul was trying to tell you something your mind couldn't yet grasp. And now it all makes sense. The old energy that used to run this world is being dismantled. And a new vibration, a sacred frequency reserved for the awakened, is taking its place. But this isn't for everyone. This reset. It's for the few who were called. For the ones who've walked through fire, yet never let it burn their soul. It's for you. So listen closely, because what I'm about to share with you is not a prediction. It's not a theory. It's a spiritual broadcast, straight from the throne of divine intelligence, revealing what's really happening to your life, your energy, and your purpose from this day forward. You see, for generations, the energy grid of this planet has been manipulated. Programs have run silently in the background of human consciousness, feeding fear, breeding confusion, distracting the chosen from their divine assignment. But that system is now being unplugged. And you are not who you used to be. From May 6th, the old version of you is no longer in command. Before we go deeper, I want to release a special blessing into your life within the next 60 seconds. Quickly hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet, and smash the like button to help this message reach more chosen ones like you. Once you've done that, you've officially sent your request to the universe. Stay focused for the next 60 seconds, then type "Thank you, universe" in the comments to affirm your blessing. If you have any other prayer requests, feel free to leave them below as well. May God bless you even more abundantly. The part of you that tolerated low frequencies, gave your power away, dimmed your light to make others comfortable. That version has been decommissioned. But let me reveal a mystery. When old energy dies, new energy is born. And with it comes activation. And what is being activated in you is not just purpose, it's power. The kind of power that rewrites timelines, bends reality, and unlocks divine inheritance. You've carried this power all along, but now it's being awakened. And here's where it touches your life. You've been losing things. People. Opportunities. Even your sense of direction. You thought it was punishment. But it was pruning. Because the garden of your future can't grow with the weeds of your past. Everything that fell away had to. Because May 6th marks a divine separation. Heaven is cleaning house. Anything not in alignment with your new vibration is being removed. Effortlessly, powerfully, irreversibly. You may have noticed strange events recently. Delays that didn't make sense. Doors closing at the last moment. People walking away without explanation. That wasn't rejection. That was recalibration. Because what's coming to you can't be contaminated by what was never meant for you. This is the reset. Not just a cosmic shift in the heavens, but a recalibration of your energy field. Your soul is being recoded. New instructions are being downloaded into your spiritual DNA. And that's why you've been feeling disconnected lately. Not from God. Not from your purpose. But from the old self that no longer fits the new story. You are not broken. You're just breaking free. The confusion. That was your system rebooting. The fatigue. That was your spirit downloading new coordinates. The silence from heaven. That was the divine whispering. Hold on. I'm working behind the veil. And now, the veil is being lifted. You're about to see. Because from May 6th, clarity is coming like lightning. Revelation is going to strike your spirit like fire from heaven. And the answers you've been praying for are about to chase you down. But not in the way you expect. See, chosen one. You've been taught to ask God for provision. But now, God is sending you position. You're not going to just receive blessings. You're going to become the portal through which blessings flow. From this day on, you are no longer a receiver. You are a carrier. And here's the spiritual mystery. The enemy knew this was coming. That's why the warfare increased. That's why life got harder before it got better. Because darkness always resists when light gets promoted. And your promotion didn't start today. It started when you didn't quit. When you kept going even when your soul was screaming. When you smiled through the betrayal. When you gave even though your heart was bleeding. That's when heaven took note. And now, it's reward time. But not the kind of reward the world offers. Not money without meaning. Not fame without fulfillment. No. You're about to receive something different. Something holy. Something eternal. Because what's being restored in you is not just your joy. It's your identity. You're not here to survive. You're here to shift atmospheres. You're not here to fit in. You're here to break the mold. You're not here to chase success. You're here to embody purpose. And this new energy reset is aligning every cell in your body, every thought in your mind, every connection in your life, with your true path. No more detours. No more delays. No more distractions dressed as opportunities. Because now you're tuned to the frequency of truth. And truth, chosen one, truth will always set you free. But here's what most don't understand. Freedom doesn't come without friction. And that's why your life has felt like a battlefield. You've been at war with what you were never meant to carry. Old beliefs. Old guilt. Old shame. They were never yours. They were programmed into your spirit by a broken world. But the reset is here to wipe the slate clean. Heaven's new blueprint for your life is being downloaded right now. And this time, your soul is leading, not your trauma. Now listen closely. Because what I'm about to reveal will explain why you felt spiritually in between. Not where you were, not yet where you're going. Floating. Drifting. Like your soul is walking through a hallway with no doors. It's because the reset doesn't just change the external. It reprograms everything internal. That pressure you've been feeling. That invisible weight on your chest. That wasn't anxiety. That was expansion. The divine has been stretching you, widening your spirit to receive the magnitude of what's about to come. But the blessing you're about to walk into couldn't exist in the version of you that was still bound by fear, guilt, or old roles. You had to outgrow it first. Outgrow small thinking. Outgrow fake friends. Outgrow coping mechanisms disguised as comfort. You weren't being punished. You were being purified. That's the price of elevation. And chosen one, you've paid it. But now the portal has opened. From this day, May 6th, the divine vaults are being unlocked. And you will notice how your spirit starts attracting what you used to chase. Why? Because the reset has aligned your vibration with divine timing. And when you're in divine timing, everything that once required force now flows. Everything that once required begging now comes by grace. You'll begin to notice people reaching out to you, not because they need you, but because they're drawn to your frequency. Suddenly, the rooms you were once ignored in, you'll now be honored in. The opportunities that felt out of reach will start coming to you, not because of hustle, but because of divine alignment. And it gets deeper. Because there's something else happening behind the scenes that affects you directly. The timeline you were living on, the one with delays, struggle, and repeated tests, has been deactivated. Yes. The karmic cycles are collapsing. The patterns that once followed you like shadows, they've lost access. And the reason you kept reliving the same heartbreak, the same loneliness, the same waiting season, was because your soul was trapped in a looping program that was never authored by heaven. But now, that loop is broken. You're stepping into a divinely coded timeline, written with your breakthrough in mind. So let me ask you something personal. Have you felt emotionally unstable lately? Mood swings that don't make sense? One moment inspired, the next, exhausted? That's not you being inconsistent. That's your nervous system adjusting to your new spiritual operating system. Your body has been trained for survival. Your spirit is now wired for revival. You're not falling apart. You're being put back together with better instructions. And this is why people around you don't understand what's happening. They can't see the upgrade, but they feel the change. Some have even started pulling away, haven't they? And it's confused you. But here's the truth. When God upgrades your energy, He also upgrades your circle. Some people simply can't breathe at the altitude you're rising to. Their departure was divine protection. Because the next phase of your journey requires relationships built on truth, not trauma bonding. Support that lifts you, not bleeds you. Connections that feel like peace, not pressure. You're not meant to explain your transformation. You're meant to embody it. Because when the reset happens in your energy, your presence becomes your testimony. You won't need to convince anyone of your growth. They'll either rise with you or fall off silently. And now let's get even deeper. Because I need to reveal a secret about your gifts. Yes, those spiritual gifts that you've kept hidden. The intuition you've second-guessed. The dreams you've shrugged off. The synchronicities you've ignored because they seemed too weird. Those weren't accidents. They were activations. Your gifts were never random. They were part of your divine assignment. But until now, the world wasn't ready for your frequency. So heaven kept them in hiding. But now the veil is torn. And your gifts are no longer optional. They are required. The people you're meant to help, they are waiting. Not for a preacher. Not for a guru. They're waiting for you. The authentic you. The wounded but wise. The broken but reborn. The real one who's not afraid to speak what others are too scared to whisper. You've been asking heaven for a sign. But beloved, you are the sign. You're the signal. You're the shift. And everything you've been through, every heartbreak, every delay, every loss, was heaven preparing you to walk in this exact season with fire in your spirit and truth in your bones. You don't need a platform. Your presence is the pulpit. Your life is the sermon. And the energy reset of May 6th. That's your commissioning. You are no longer being processed. You're being positioned. And soon, everything that once confused you will start making sense. The betrayals. The silence. The detours. It wasn't chaos. It was choreography. Heaven was arranging every piece. Like a divine chessboard. Positioning you for a victory that doesn't just bless you, but redeems your entire bloodline. You are the cycle breaker. The curse reverser. The legacy rebuilder. This is why your process was so painful. Because your reward is generational. And it begins now. From this day, your decisions carry divine weight. Your words manifest faster. Your thoughts attract quicker. Because the veil is thin. And your spirit is now operating in accelerated favor. You've waited so long to feel this. To feel seen. To feel confirmed. To feel like someone finally understands what you've been going through in the dark. Chosen one. This is your confirmation. You didn't imagine the isolation. You didn't make up the pain. You didn't suffer for nothing. You were never crazy. You were being calibrated. Heaven had to pull you out of the noise. Out of the crowd. Out of the routines that numbed your soul. Because where you're going, you can't afford to live on autopilot. You had to be awakened. And not the kind of awakening that just makes you spiritual. No. This is the kind of awakening that makes you dangerous to darkness. The kind that activates remembrance. Because you didn't just come here to survive life on earth. You came with an assignment. A calling encoded into your soul since before you took your first breath. And now, the countdown is over. Your soul contract has been triggered. Everything dormant is being activated. That's why you've been restless lately. Because your spirit knows, it's time. Time to remember who you are. Time to walk like the authority you carry. Time to stop shrinking, doubting, second-guessing. The world has fed you lies long enough. Lies that said you were too sensitive. Too different. Too much. But the truth is, you were always too powerful for their comfort. They couldn't handle your fire, so they tried to contain it. But fire was never meant to be controlled. It was meant to consume. And now that fire inside of you, it's being reignited. Not by motivation, not by hype, but by revelation. You're starting to see clearly. And with that vision comes responsibility. Because chosen one, your eyes were opened not to judge, but to lead. You are not here to play small. You are here to shift spiritual atmospheres, to awaken dry bones, to disrupt generational curses, to breathe life into dead situations. And from this day forward, the grace that's on you is undeniable. That's why people will either be drawn to you or repelled by you. There will be no middle ground. Because the light on your life exposes what others are trying to hide. And here's the key. Don't be discouraged by their reaction. It's not about you. It's about what's inside you. Your presence convicts. Your truth confronts. Your peace disturbs the spirits of those still choosing chaos. But don't dim your light to make them feel safe. You weren't sent to be liked. You were sent to liberate. And liberation starts with you. You're not a victim of your past. You're the proof that healing is possible. You've been entrusted with pain so you could transform it into power. And now that the reset has begun, that transformation is no longer optional, it's inevitable. You're going to start noticing miracles in the mundane. You'll hear lyrics, see numbers, sense divine instructions in places others overlook. That's not coincidence. That's communication. Heaven is speaking. And you've been tuned in. It's no longer about praying for signs. Now it's about obeying the signals. Because you're no longer in preparation. You're in position. And from this position, you have authority to shift what others can't even see. Let me tell you why the warfare intensified before May 6th. Because darkness knew your season of silence was coming to an end. It tried to silence you one last time. Through distractions. Through discouragement. Through doubt. But you kept standing. Even when your knees were shaking. Even when your heart was breaking. You stood. And because you stood, heaven is now standing with you. You are not alone. Angels have been dispatched on your behalf. Doors are opening that you didn't knock on. Opportunities are appearing that you didn't chase. Not because you're lucky, but because you're aligned. You'll start to notice the little things shifting first. The way people look at you. The way your body feels. The way your energy responds to certain places. That's your spiritual compass activating. Don't ignore it. Trust it. Because what feels off is off. What feels misaligned is misaligned. You don't have time to second-guess your discernment anymore. Your future depends on your obedience now. And the truth is, you've been prepared for this moment your whole life. The abandonment. That taught you how to love yourself. The heartbreak. That taught you what you deserve. The failure. That showed you how to rise again. Nothing was wasted. Every scar is a scroll. Every wound is wisdom. And now, you don't just carry experience. You carry authority. People will begin to seek you out for guidance, for answers, for presence. And it won't be because of your resume. It'll be because of your resonance. Your spirit will speak before your mouth ever opens. That's the level of vibration you're stepping into now. This is the Great Reset. A reordering of everything, seen and unseen. But it starts in you. And the next 7 days, they're sacred. You'll notice tests, triggers, old temptations trying to resurface. Don't fall for them. They're not real. They're echoes. Remnants of a version of you that no longer exists. From May 6th forward, you're not walking in cycles. You're walking in ascension. And ascension demands awareness. Chosen one. You've stepped into sacred ground now. You can feel it, can't you? Things feel unfamiliar. The air feels different. Your mind can't explain it. But your spirit knows. You've entered the realm where manifestation bends to the will of divine instruction. Where prayer is no longer a ritual, but a command. where you don't just speak things into existence. You become the existence. This is not a normal season. This is not a temporary good vibe. This is the initiation of a new dimension of your spiritual life. The reset didn't just remove the old. It activated the original. The real you. The version of you that heaven always saw, before the heartbreaks, before the trauma, before the world taught you how to shrink. This is your divine DNA rising again. And when that happens, the entire universe responds. Watch closely. Watch how people start reacting to you differently. Some will be magnetized. Others will flee. Don't chase the ones who flee. They were never assigned to your destiny. They were only assigned to your delay. And now that delay is over, so is their access. You see, the energy reset is separating the wheat from the tares. It's dividing who's meant to walk with you from who's just been walking near you. God is removing camouflage. Masks are falling off. Motives are being revealed. You'll start to see who was clapping for your calling and who was clapping for your collapse. But don't get bitter. Get better. Because every betrayal was a graduation. Heaven was testing your loyalty in silence before giving you influence in the spotlight. And you passed the test. That's why now, your name is being whispered in rooms you've never stepped in. Your spirit is being recognized in realms beyond your reach. Because chosen one, you've become a spiritual frequency, not just a person. And that frequency carries weight. That's why you've been so exhausted lately. Your soul has been stretching, preparing to hold what's coming next. Because what's coming is not just a blessing. It's a mantle, a spiritual responsibility. You'll begin to see your voice having more impact. Your presence will start shifting atmospheres. Your words will heal wounds you didn't even know existed in people. But don't let the elevation make you forget the foundation. Stay humble. Stay surrendered. Stay close to God. Because the higher you go, the more precise your obedience must be. Not out of fear, but out of honor. Honor the assignment. Honor the gift. Honor the process that got you here. Because this wasn't a shortcut. This was a sacred initiation. And let me tell you this clearly. You are now marked in the spirit realm. Hell knows your name. But so does heaven. You're no longer hidden. You're no longer overlooked. The oil on your life can no longer be denied. And with that oil comes protection. That's why some doors were shut, violently. That's why some relationships crumbled, suddenly. Because what you thought was rejection was redirection. God was blocking access to anything that couldn't steward the next level of you. And here's where it gets even deeper. You will start remembering things that you didn't learn. Wisdom that you didn't study. Visions that don't match your past, but perfectly align with your future. That's divine memory being restored. That's your ancient self being reactivated. You're starting to walk as your true self, the one that's been hidden under layers of survival. And now, you don't need to strive. You don't need to chase. You don't need to beg. You attract, not from ego, but from alignment. That's what happens when you carry divine energy. You become a magnet for miracles. A lighthouse for the lost. A mirror that reflects God's glory. And people will either be drawn to that light, or try to dim it. But hear me, chosen one. Don't dim down. Turn all the way up. Because you weren't sent to blend in. You were sent to break patterns. To shift bloodlines. To restore purpose to places that forgot how to dream. This is why your childhood felt so heavy. Why your pain started so early. Because the enemy saw your potential before you did. You were a threat before you even spoke. Before you could pray. Before you could understand warfare. But now you understand. Now you see. Now you know. And with that knowing comes unstoppable movement. You're not just walking into favor. You're walking into divine assignment. You're not just being elevated. You're being commissioned. This energy reset has one agenda. To get you aligned with heaven's blueprint for your life. And everything that doesn't match that blueprint, it's being burned away. Don't fear the fire. The fire doesn't destroy the chosen. It reveals them. You'll notice that conversations feel different now. You can't gossip like you used to. You can't pretend like before. You can't tolerate low vibration habits. That's not you being moody. That's you being refined. You're being set apart, not to be lonely, but to be launched. Because May 6th was not just a day. It was a divine detonation. A spiritual shift that sent out shockwaves into every corner of your timeline. And now, your past is bowing to your future. The old contracts are broken. The generational curses are reversed. The agreements with fear, doubt, lack, terminated. You are walking under a new covenant now. One written in grace. Sealed with fire. Backed by heaven. And what's coming next? Chosen one. It's beyond what your mind can imagine. Because it's not just about you. It's about what's coming through you. Chosen one. This next part may shake you. Because after a divine reset, comes a divine reveal. And you're about to see the world through eyes that were once blind. You'll begin to see the truth behind the people, the systems, even the routines you once trusted. What once looked like safety, will now feel like suffocation. What once felt familiar, will now feel foreign. Because you've outgrown it. The reset rewired your spiritual perception. You're not who you were last week. And because of that, you can't go back to old habits, your soul won't allow it. That's why it feels like the old pleasures are losing their grip. Why old addictions no longer satisfy. Why the things you once tolerated now irritate your spirit. You are evolving. Not gradually, but radically. That uneasiness inside of you. That's your soul refusing to settle. You're being called into uncharted territory. And yes, it's uncomfortable. But it's also undeniable. God is stretching you because He's about to send you. Send you into places where others have fallen. Send you into arenas where your name has never been spoken. But your spirit has already been felt. Because your assignment is not small. It's strategic. You were hidden for so long, not because you were forgotten, but because you were being fortified. And now comes the exposure. The unveiling. The people who thought you were finished are about to witness your rise. Not out of revenge, but out of redemption. Because the glory that's about to rest on your life will leave no room for confusion. They'll know it wasn't luck. They'll know it wasn't networking. They'll know it wasn't a mentor. It was divine design. Chosen one. You're going to see the very people who rejected you, trying to replicate you. But it won't work. Because the anointing cannot be mimicked. It must be assigned. And you've been assigned. You carry what they cannot copy. You've paid a price they never saw. You've bled in private for the oil you carry in public. And now, that oil is about to flow. It will flow into your finances. Watch for divine provision from unexpected places. It will flow into your relationships. Watch how new connections are magnetized to you. It will flow into your ideas. Downloads from heaven that will birth movements, businesses, blueprints. But don't forget this. With great revelation comes great resistance. Not everyone will celebrate your awakening. Some will attack it. Because when your light turns on, it exposes their shadows. You'll feel the tension. You'll sense the whispers. You'll notice the shift in energy when you enter the room. But let them shift. Let them whisper. You were not sent to be palatable. You were sent to be prophetic. You don't carry opinions. You carry oracles. And when your presence alone starts convicting demons, don't shrink. Stand. When doors close without reason, don't panic. Pivot. Because from May 6th forward, you are not allowed to retreat into old versions of yourself. Your old skin has expired. Your old scripts no longer apply. You've been called into the unknown. But in the unknown is unlocked authority. You're going to wake up and hear instructions you didn't ask for. You'll feel pulled to places you've never been, urged to speak words you've never rehearsed. That's because your divine operating system has been upgraded. You're no longer led by ego, but by spirit. You're no longer navigating life. You're channeling destiny. And here's the wild part. You'll begin to attract exactly what you need without chasing it. Because when you finally become the frequency of your assignment, everything that belongs to you must respond. But don't get distracted by shiny things. Not every open door is a divine door. Test every opportunity in the spirit. Ask, does this feed my soul or just flatter my ego? Because the enemy knows your new season has started too. And he'll try to send counterfeits dressed as blessings. Temporary highs to keep you from permanent breakthroughs. You must walk in discernment now. Because in this level of your walk, you don't fight with fists. You fight with focus. Your weapon is your vision. Your power is your presence. Your victory is in your vibration. And this vibration, it's not just spiritual, it's generational. You are the first in your bloodline to fully awaken. You're breaking cycles your ancestors couldn't name. You're restoring altars they abandoned. You're carrying burdens they couldn't finish. You've become the interrupter, the divine glitch, the chosen anomaly that refuses to let darkness have the final word. And because of that, heaven is backing you like never before. Watch how quickly things shift. Watch how fast the acceleration happens. You won't have time to explain. You won't have time to get permission. This next season will require immediate obedience. You'll move without evidence. You'll act without applause. You'll build in silence. And then one day, boom, everything will explode into visibility. People will call it sudden. But it won't be sudden. It will be sovereign. Because when heaven moves, it doesn't need to make announcements. It simply manifests. And you, chosen one, you're not waiting for change anymore. You are the change. Chosen one. Everything has led to this. The breakdowns. The isolation. The nights where your own thoughts tried to bury you alive. The warfare you couldn't explain to anyone. The tears you cried in silence when no one saw. When no one came. When even God felt quiet. All of that was the preparation. The fire that didn't burn you, but built you. Because now, you are stepping into the great becoming. This is not just a new chapter. This is a new book. From May 6th, a new scroll was opened in the spirit with your name written across it. Not in ink. In fire. You've crossed a spiritual threshold. And what was once delayed will now chase you down. Not just blessings, but alignment. Kingdom connections. Assignments that fit your exact wiring. Resources that meet your needs before you even ask. You've become a divine intersection where heaven meets earth. And from now on, your life will reveal the fingerprint of God in every detail. This is why things had to break. So that you could be built. This is why people had to leave. So that you could be lifted. This is why your plan had to fail. So that God's plan could prevail. And now you're stepping into a frequency few will understand. And that's okay. You weren't sent here to be understood. You were sent here to be obeyed. Yes, you. You are not just a person with potential. You are a walking prophecy. A fulfilled word. An answered prayer. Heaven sent you to correct timelines. To restore what hell stole. To awaken what the world silenced. You are here to birth something eternal. And from May 6th onward, that birthing has begun. You'll feel contractions. Yes, even after the reset. Pain will try to creep back in. Confusion will knock at your door. The enemy will whisper, nothing's really changed. But now you know better. You know that pain is the proof that something is being pushed through. You know that the confusion is confirmation that your spirit is operating at a frequency your mind hasn't caught up to yet. That's the walk of the chosen. We move before we fully understand. We obey before we fully see. Because we don't walk by sight. We walk by alignment. And now, the time has come. Your future isn't coming. It's here. And it won't look like what you thought. It'll be bigger, wilder, more precise, more prophetic, more divine. You'll speak and atmospheres will shift. You'll walk into rooms and dead things will stir. Not because of you, but because of what's flowing through you. You've become a vessel, a carrier of kingdom DNA, a messenger of the mysteries of God. And every place you step into from now on will be changed. You won't need to announce it. You won't need to prove it. You'll just be it. That's what the reset did. It didn't just clear the path. It crowned you. You've been marked, signed, sealed, and now sent. So walk, chosen one, not in fear, but in fire. Walk in the knowing that all of heaven is backing your steps. That every delay was divine. That every no was protection. That every detour was direction. Because nothing was wasted. Not a tear. Not a test. Not a trauma. It all counted. And it all counts now. You are not random. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are right. On. Time. And the world. It's about to feel it. Because when a chosen one awakens, the earth responds. So let this be your final reminder. You were never just trying to survive. You were being summoned. And now that you've heard the call, now that the veil is lifted, now that the reset has been received, you will never go back. You will never shrink. You will never settle again. Because everything from this moment forward is divine momentum. The kingdom is behind you. Angels go before you. Heaven's scroll has released your name. So move. Move like the chosen one you are. Think like the oracle you've become. Speak like the shift you carry. Live like a miracle walking. And watch how everything changes. Not someday. Not one day. But now. Because chosen one. You are the evidence. That May 6th was the day. Heaven rewrote history, through you. If this spoke to your soul, if something inside you feels reawakened, then this is just the beginning. In the next video, I'm going to reveal what this reset has activated in your spiritual gifts, and why your supernatural sight is about to open in ways you've never imagined. But before you go, tell me in the comments, what did this confirm for you? And if you felt the truth in your bones, subscribe. Share this with another chosen one. Help awaken your tribe. Because the shift has started. And we're just getting started.